This is the second part of our video, introduction video. So on this part, we're going to discuss the tools that commonly used for 3D. So this is the trace tool, H, also used on brother technique. That is commonly used in brother technique. Okay, 3 is when you set a vector or define a sidewall or copy a sidewall. So everything that has to do with vector is on 3. 6 is when you want to paste that vector on other buildings. You want to copy the side of that buildings. You have the brother relationship on that building. So brother way, this is the best way to draw multi-layered buildings. So okay, essentially this is the proper way to draw multi-layered buildings, which will be discussed, of course, on uh, other videos. Okay, drag tool. This is the main navigation tool that we use in our system. R tool is this is the toggle technique. Toggle uh, tool. This is when you want to turn on and off your drawing so that you can see the building. And then cut tool. This will enable you to cut on features that are very. This is a very important tool because cutting features would be very common in our work. Okay, so let's proceed with the example. I'm going to show you how to draw 3D buildings. Okay, so in drawing 3D buildings, okay, this is the actual task. In drawing 3D buildings, one thing that you need to know is you have to draw the top part and then you have to drag it all the way to the bottom. So when you say 3D buildings, it has walls in it. So what would I do here is I'm using F. Okay, then I'm gonna use S here and then F. So you can see that I've drawn that using S and F. I'm shifting between two tools. Okay, so 3, and then I'm gonna set the vector. Why would I set the vector? Because obviously these are other buildings and this is another building, but they are attached, so they need to have one vector. Okay, so I select that one. I press Control, and then I would drag all the way to the bottom. So don't worry, it locks the vector. So upon making the vector, which I used earlier 3. Okay, I set the vector by making pressing 3. Set the first point here and then the second point here and then I press space like what I did earlier. Okay, so that is this big building. You see that is how you set a vector. Okay, that is also how you drag a sidewall. Okay, so the next part is the trace tool. So I'm going to draw this part here in relation to this building here. So they need to have same sidewalls, obviously different height but same sidewalls. So I'm gonna use H. So it's gonna copy the properties of this building here. And then since it's H, I could shift to F. So it's right angled. See that? Okay. So I could use this. Before my last point, before closing it, I should shift to H, and then I use space. Okay, so it immediately copies this sidewall and this sidewall of this one. As you can see, it's fairly straight. So that is how we draw brother technique. So basically, this building has relation to this building, so they share a wall. So that is why we call them brother. So they have a brother relationship. This building and this building. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is how do we copy a sidewall direction and how do we paste sidewall direction. For example, uh, if this building has a different sidewall, okay, for example on this building, this building has, okay, guys, if you see this dragging here, you can see it dragging, right? So what you need to do is select this, Control Q. Okay, this will separate this from these buildings. So once I press Control Q, it will have its own vector. You could make it as a separate one. Okay, so it has a different vector, this and this, but I could copy the vector of this to inline with this. Okay, I select that one, I press 3. See, building vector is set, so it will copy the vector for this one. And then I could select this, and then I press 6. See, it copied the vector for this building to this building. Okay, so now they have the same vector. So this, see that? So it will copy the vector of one building to another building. So this will be very useful in boundary issues. Okay. Next is going to discuss. Of course, we've been talking about Brotherway drag tool. So drag simple W. So that is how you drag it. Okay. So the one thing that is useful between the W, of course, the navigation tools that we have is we could zoom in, zoom out using the mouse wheel. Okay. And then W is for drag tool. And then if you are drawing, you can't press W. It will go back to drag tool. So what we'll be doing if you are drawing, you press Control, then it will enable the drag function. Okay, drag and control. Okay, so that is the basic navigation for this software. Toggle tool. So the toggle tool is this R. So it will enable or disable the building that you have drawn, so that you would see the building. This is very useful in drawing buildings that are quite complicated, because of course you have to see the actual building in order for you to draw it, right? So that is the toggle tool. Then the cut tool. So for example, on this one you need to cut. Just for example, you need to use this. Okay, that then T. I mean that is already T, and then space. So things like that. Okay, I'm gonna show you a good example wherein cut to very beneficial. Okay. 51. Okay. So on this example, the cut tool will be very beneficial. For example, on this types of buildings wherein you have to draw it as a whole. So shifting between. So I'm gonna use cut here at T. That. Also, another way to use cut tool is using using it with F and S. Example, I could use S, and then I could draw it like this. And then before clicking space, I use T, shifting it to cut tool and then space. Or I could use right angle. So this is one of my favorite thing to do when cutting, because I like to cut everything straight. It's more pleasing to the eyes. Of course, it's better to look at T. I use that, and then I press T, and then I cut. Okay, so that is basically cut tool. So again, we go back to the slide. So these are the tools that you are going to use on the project. So remember to familiarize yourself with these tools and then it will make you more efficient workers. Always use the tools, always use the shortcuts, so you will be earning good on these projects. So thank you for watching.